السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. طبعا بنبدأ الآن المحاضرة، وإن شاء الله بالنسبة للباقيين بتكون المحاضرة يعني مسجلة، وبإمكانهم أنهم بعدين يرجعوا لمراجعة الفيديو في قناتنا في اليوتيوب. إذن بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم، ونصلي ونسلم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. في البداية نود أن نرحب بالأستاذ همدان الهمداني، شاكرين له تلبية الدعوة وتخصيص جزء من وقتي الثمين في منفعة إخواني الطلاب. الحاضرين جميعا أهلا وسهلا بكم في اليوم الثاني من برنامج Academic Writing for IELTS. موضوع اليوم بيكون Pros and Cons، المعروف بال Advantages and Disadvantages. فنتمنى أنكم تستفيدوا من هذه الدورة بشكل كبير، خصوصا أن الأستاذ همدان يتمتع بخبرة عالية في هذا الموضوع. نبذة بسيطة عن الأستاذ همدان. He holds a bachelor degree in English, and he owns the TOEFL certificate for teaching English as a foreign language. He also has an experience in teaching English at Yale for 5 years and 2 years at New Horizons. And now he currently works at my China University in China. أستاذ همدان أهلا وسهلا بك. فأقلب الكلمة إليك مباشرة تبدأ المحاضرة.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. First of all, I'd like to thank Brother Muhammad for this great introduction. Thank you, guys. Just a little correction. I'm currently in China, and I'm doing my master's degree here. Doing my master's degree in business administration. I've been here for almost 3 years, and I'm approaching the end of my thesis. And with this being said, I'd like to begin by saying Assalamu alaikum, everyone, peace be upon you. And in the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful, we glorify him as he ought to be glorified, or we thank him as he ought to be thanked. And at the beginning, I'd like to take a minute thanking the Yemen Student Union in Malaca. I'm really honored, and it's a great privilege for me to be here and to meet each and every one of you virtually. So at the very beginning, please, if you can hear me, can you just type in something? You can probably drop a thumbs up, or maybe yes there in your chat bar down the screen. Yes, okay. What about the other guys? Can you hear me? Please, if you can hear me, maybe you can type something. Okay, good. All right, that's great. I'd like to apologize for you. Probably you can hear some fireworks right here, because it's probably a traditional Chinese wedding where, you know, such weddings here, they really burn the sky with fireworks. But anyway, with this being said, let me begin again by hoping that everyone is safe and sound, because as we all know, the world is going through unprecedented times with the outbreak of the COVID-19 since the beginning of 2022. It's been hard to everyone. Everyone has been going through hardship in some form. So I hope that everyone is taking protective measures to be safe and healthy, and also to protect people around you. So about today's class, we're gonna talk a little bit about academic writing. We're gonna focus on the IELTS academic writing task 2, which is how to write a pros and cons essay. So let me just share the screen. I'm gonna ask Brother Radwan to enable sharing my screen, please.
اوكي دكتور، الان بنسوي
Okay, we're gonna assign you as a co-host, so you will be able to manage the sharing the screen.
Okay, please do that. Thank you.
Could you please check?
Okay. Yeah, that's good now. Okay, so please, if you can see the screen, let me know.
Clear.
Can you see the screen?
Yes, yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so as you can see here in the screen, we're going to talk about IELTS Academic Writing Task 2, pros and cons, or as we also call it, advantages and disadvantages essay. Today, we're going to do it a little bit differently. And regarding the design of this class, it's actually designed for those who already have some information about writing in general. At least you should know the basics of writing sentences, designing an essay, introduction, body paragraphs, and conclusion. And we're gonna do it also a little bit differently in the sense that we're gonna write together. And so I'm gonna ask you guys to prepare your pencil. If you have maybe a pen or whatever, you can have your notebook or a sheet of paper. Okay, so if you're ready, please drop yes. Oh, okay, good. One more thing, today we're going to be using English as the medium of this class. I'm gonna try to be as clear as possible because this is aiming at students who already have knowledge in the English language, as you know. So let's begin with the objectives of today's class. By the end of this class, you should be able to understand what an essay is in general, understand what advantages and disadvantages essay is, or also we call it pros and cons, recognize how a pros and cons essay question looks like. You should also be able to know the structure of this kind of essay. And definitely you guys are going to write your own essay. So we're going to go step by step together, writing the essay from sentence 1 until we're going to focus on the introduction and also in the body paragraph 1. And by doing this, you are going to have a good idea about how to write body paragraph 2 and also a conclusion. Finally, we're going to end up our class by giving you some general tips and pointers on how to approach the essay writing test in real test situations. So as you know, or probably some of you know, that there are 2 tasks in the IELTS test in the writing section. The first task, you are given 20 minutes. You're given a graph, probably a table or a picture that you can write about. You can analyze the information there and write your own paragraph or small article. But this is not our topic for today. Today's topic is task 2. In this task, you're given 40 minutes to finish this task. So it's very important to understand what an essay is. An essay is a group of paragraphs put together to talk about one idea. And it's very important to mention that it's only one idea and you should stick to this idea. Every single sentence that you write should directly relate to this one idea. This idea is stated in the thesis statement. And when you write, you don't just write, especially when you write for a test. You should know that, I mean, in a test like the IELTS test, who's going to read your essay? There are some examiners who are going to read your essay, and they expect you to have certain information in your essay. So when you give your opinion, you should support your opinion with examples, facts, or even statistics. So you don't just write your opinion, you have to support what you say. And there are actually more than 5 types of essays. Discussion essay, agree, disagree, problem, solution, and then we have direct question essay, but this is all irrelevant. Our topic is pros and cons. But one thing that you should keep in mind, that no matter what type of essay you're being asked to write, you need to make sure you fully understand the question and you fully understand the instructions. Basically, in every question, you're asked to write at least 250 words. And this is what you should do, because if you fail to reach to this number of words, then this is gonna definitely reduce your score in some way. So what is a pros and cons essay? A pros and cons essay is actually you are asked to describe a positive and a negative side of a given topic. At the same time, you're also asked to give your opinion and to support your opinion with reasons, facts, and or examples. Okay, so the first question that we should ask ourselves is, how do we recognize that this question is actually asking us to write a pros and cons essay? It's very simple. In this type of questions, you can look at some words that actually give you a very clear hint that this question is about this kind of essay. For example, we have words like benefits and drawbacks, pros and cons, fors and againsts, costs and benefits, positives and negatives. These basically have the same meaning. So if you see a question and you find that these words are there, then you should automatically know that this kind of essay is pros and cons. Okay, let's take a look at one example. As you can see here, the top part of this question, or basically any question in the essay part, the top part and the bottom part are basically the same. You are given 40 minutes. Let me just spot this. So you're given 40 minutes and you are asked to give reasons and give examples. You should not just write your opinion. You should support your opinion with information, with facts, with examples. And so, okay. So let's take a look at our question here. Look at this question. University students are increasingly studying abroad as part of their studies. So as you can see, this is a very general statement. It's just a sentence giving you some information, right? The question is here. This is the question you're asked is, do the advantages of studying abroad outweigh the disadvantages? What is the meaning of outweigh? Outweigh means exceed or to be more than. So do you think that the advantages are more than the disadvantages? So what is your opinion in this matter? And so how do you approach this kind of question? Let's take a look at another example. This is actually today's topic. We're going to write together an essay using this question. It is often considered that change is more beneficial than trying to avoid it and have everything remaining the same. Do you think the advantages of change outweigh the disadvantages? So this is the general statement at the beginning, as you can see. This is, just a second, please. I'm trying to clear, So the first part of any question is the general statement. This sentence is very important because you guys are going to need it in your writing. This is the first sentence in your essay. You're going to write it in different words, okay? So you should take this into consideration every time you read a question, a question in the IELTS essay part. So this is the general statement. And then what we have is we need to talk about the advantages and also the disadvantages. So as you can see here, this is how our essay is going to look like. It's going to have an introduction, just like this hamburger, a body paragraph, and also another body paragraph, and a conclusion. We must, in this kind of essay, we must write 2 body paragraphs because we should list all the advantages and disadvantages in 2 separate paragraphs here. So before we begin, could you please tell me your opinion? What do you think? Do you think that change is more beneficial than trying to avoid it? So if you think that change is important, please let me know in the chat bar. What is your opinion? Can you guys understand what I'm saying? Can you hear what I'm saying? Okay, so Mansour, he said change is beneficial. And then we have Atiqa, she says, yes, it is if the change is for the better. Of course, change is better. Sulaiman. What about the others? Please let me know your opinion here. Forced or sudden. Okay, perfect. So as long as it isn't forced or sudden, that's a very good point. Change is the unchangeable principle. That's for sure. Yes, change is better. So basically, we share the same opinion because this is my opinion on the matter, and this is how I wrote my essay based on this. Okay, so great. It's good to know that you guys agree that we should always change. So let's move on. Let's take a look at the structure of our essay. So this is basically the structure of a pros and cons essay. We have the introduction, paragraph 1, paragraph 2, and conclusion. Introduction, 3 sentences. The first sentence, you're going to rewrite the general statement. You remember? This is our general statement, this. So what you need to do at the very beginning is to take this sentence and try to form it in your own words. You should paraphrase it, okay? So number 2, you should mention the main advantage and disadvantage. So basically, let's go step by step. How about that? Let's just begin by writing the introduction. So let's begin by writing the general statement. This is our general statement. Again, we can take a look at it. So I'm going to give you guys 2 minutes to write your own sentence. You should keep the information the same, but use different words. I'm going to give you 2 minutes to do that. Please type your answer. It doesn't matter if you make mistakes. Now we are talking about the structure of the essay. It doesn't matter if you make grammatical mistakes or even spelling mistakes. Take your time to think. It's okay. Just take a sip of water. One minute left. Anyone, please? Are you done? You can look at this sentence, and all you need to do is, okay, so let's take a look at the first one from Sulaiman. Usually change something is easier than to avoid it. Okay. Okay, but Sulaiman, here you missed a very important point. Here it says change is more beneficial, right? So you should mention this as well. Maybe you can use a different word other than beneficial. You can try a synonym. Accepting change is believed to be better than denying it. That's a great sentence. Probably better than mine. Wow. Okay. Then we have Abdullah. He said change is an essential part that we have to experience at some point of our lives. It is regarded as something rather beneficial, and we always are advised to not avoid it. Abdullah, that's a great sentence, but you have 2 sentences here. I would recommend that you drop the first one, just drop it, okay? And instead of saying it, just say change. Change is regarded as something rather beneficial, and we always are advised to not to avoid it. Perfect, I like it. Atiqa, let's take a look. It is frequently assumed that embracing change is preferable to attempting to prevent it and have everything as usual. Wow, that's a good sentence. Really like it. Good job. Keeping everything same is usually less beneficial than having some. Good job, Safe, but I would advise you to change the word beneficial because it's there. It's in the original sentence. You need to paraphrase, but the structure is fine. Good job. And then finally, let's take a look at Mansour's sentence here. Sometime change is required than leaving as it is. I think the idea is there, but you should also later you can check the structure. The change will teach you something new, whether they appear to be good or negative. Great job. I think it's good. Look, there is something you guys should know about paraphrasing. Paraphrasing, when you paraphrase a sentence, it is better to keep the sentence the same size as the original sentence, or maybe even shorter, as long as the meaning is there, okay? So try to avoid writing too long sentences, because the longer, the more mistakes you probably could make. So let's take a look at my sentence. And I think, guys, you wrote your sentence, I mean, your sentence is better than mine in many aspects. So let's take a look at this here. So it is frequently thought that embracing change is more advantageous than resisting it. Well, this is just a paraphrase. As I said, many of your sentences are better than this. So let's move on. Okay, we are done with the first sentence. Let's move on to the second. Please make sure you have a notebook. Again, you should write your own essay by the end of this class. So number 2, mention the main advantage and disadvantage. So it doesn't matter what your opinion is. Your opinion is. Here, what you need to do is you should think of one main advantage and one main disadvantage, okay? Maybe you, I mean, most of you are with change, but in this sentence, you should mention both sides here. You should mention the main advantage and the main disadvantage. So let's do that together. So let's take a look at our sentence here. I mean, let's take a look at what we need to do. What is the main advantage and what is the main disadvantage? 2 minutes again. Maybe you can choose to use this word, although, or maybe this phrase, in spite of the fact, or maybe you can use despite. It's up to you. So 2 minutes. You can take your time, think. And remember, we're going to actually need these 2 ideas in writing the body paragraphs. So think well. Okay. Advantages? No, not just, no, in one sentence, talk about the one advantage and one disadvantage, the main advantage and the main disadvantage. You can link the 2 ideas by using these contrast, I mean, words, or like although, in spite of the fact, despite. Anyone, please? You guys said change is more beneficial. So you already have the first idea, first reason, right? Think of one disadvantage. Sometimes change can be bad, you know. Some people might argue that. Okay. Okay, here we have one sentence, 2, 3. Good. It takes time to think, I know. So while change can allow us to enhance our experience, it should also be noted that it may make us feel uncomfortable. Okay, that's a very good sentence. Okay, so you have one advantage, one disadvantage. Just as an internal change will encourage you to progress, but it might bring fear of unknown results. Great, so fear. Okay, that's a great sentence. Changing is needed to break routine and get improved, but it needs cost and time. Good job. I think you guys did a good job. I hope everyone can try. It doesn't matter if you guys make mistakes. It's always, I mean, it's always perfect to learn from our mistakes, you know. Okay, here we have 2 other sentences. If the change is for improvement, it's better than staying at. Look, Mansour, if the change exercise is for improvement. Okay, so there is something you should understand here. The question is not asking you to talk about, I mean, one aspect of change. It's about change in general, okay? So please stick to it, because you must write what you are asked to. Having some changes in our life means having more fun and great mood. However, occasionally these changes might cause you some problems. Good, I like it. Safe, good job. Advantages of changes is to grow and learn new things, discover new. Okay, that's a good sentence. As I can see, you guys are writing very long. Like, for example, Abdullah is right. This is a very, very long sentence, or is it a paragraph? It's a paragraph. Just write one sentence. Look at my sentence, for example, please. So look at this. Although going from one thing to another results in less certainty. Certainty means that you are sure about what you're going to do, like what the next step is. Change can bring about many opportunities that we never think of or often neglect. Keep it simple, guys. You don't have to make it complicated. Just keep it simple. Don't write too long sentences. Changes are so beneficial despite sometimes. Okay. Gives you a feeling that you are alive and there is renewal in your life. Okay, so please, it doesn't matter how you wrote your sentence, just write it down. Write it down in your sheet of paper. We can fix all these problems. You can fix them later. So let's move on. So we're done with the first and the second sentences. Now we go to the most important part of an introduction. This is actually the heart of your essay, of the whole essay. It's the thesis statement. Here you need to give your opinion. So please, now that we have written the first sentence and the second, can you now give your opinion? Which do you think is better, change or remaining the same? Here you should give your opinion. At the beginning, we talked in general. It's a very general statement mentioned by the writer of the question. Now we can take a stand and choose which one is better, change or remaining the same. You can start by, in my opinion, in my point of view, something like that. Oh. 2 minutes again. I hope you guys are not getting tired because writing can always be a tiring task, you know. I believe that change is better than remaining the same. Perfect. Very simple, very straightforward, Sulaiman. That's a very good sentence, I think. I believe that change is better than remaining the same. Okay. In my point of view, I think changing is needed to learn how to get comfortable feeling uncomfortable because Atika, you know, you don't need to give details at this point. Details, we need details in the body paragraphs. So just write a short sentence, give your opinion, be straightforward, just go to the point. I think change is needed. You don't have to say to learn and to give reasons here. Okay. Let's take a look at this sentence here. In my opinion, it is far better to take on certain challenges in pursuit of change. That means it's better than, it's better to take these challenges following certain changes than to lose undiscovered opportunities by risking remaining the same. Remember, you can always use simple words. Never, ever use a word if you are not 100% sure about the meaning of this word and the spelling as well. Safe is there. Fatin, okay, let's take a look at Fatin's sentence. In my opinion, change is required in most things because the wheel of time does not stop and we must keep pace with it. It's a very good sentence. However, you should not give details here. Just stick to the point. I like these sentences, guys. You're doing a good job. In my perspective, that's a very good way to say it. I see that making changes from time to time is better than being bored when you remain everything without any adjust. Very good sentence, Safe. Very good. You guys have to be very careful when you write this sentence. This is the heart of your essay. If there is a mistake here, it's deadly, you know. In my opinion, changes are better to move to another level of life and have a new experience. Very good. Very good sentence. Huh? Look, Fahd, this sentence, you said, I think if change is applied correctly, it helps to reduce waste. This is it can be used in body paragraphs. This is a detail. You're not taking a stand here. You should give your opinion. Abdullah, in my opinion, I believe change is an essential of someone's life, no matter who they are, whether be it an adult or young. Okay, that's it. I mean, end your sentence with young. Okay, you don't have to give any more details, Abdullah. This is your, it should be your sentence here. Okay. I personally believe that without taking on new challenges, you would never be able to expand your limitations. A very good sentence here by Babel. Okay. Very good. So let's move on, guys. Let's move on because we don't have much time. Let's take a look at why these statements are very important. So look at this funnel. This funnel gives you an idea about how your introduction looks like. So here is your thesis statement. And at the beginning, you have the general statement, and then less general, and then you go to specific. Specific is your thesis statement. So first you talk generally, less general, and then go into specific. Keep it simple. You don't have to complicate things. Okay, so let's take a look at our sentence here. This is, I mean, at our paragraph, this is how our introduction looks like. You guys can refer back to it. I'm gonna share this these slides with Radwan, and he can share it with you, so don't worry about it. Okay. Okay, now how do we write body paragraph 1? How do we write body paragraph 1? Here we go. Let's take a look at the first sentence. Number 1, you need to outline the main advantage. Now, in the introduction, in the second sentence, you mentioned one main advantage and one main disadvantage. Now, if you think that the advantages outweigh the disadvantages, then you should start with the advantages here. So let's mention one main advantage. Okay, guys, now it's time for you to write the first sentence in the body paragraph. Just write, what is the main advantage of change? Maybe you can take a look at my sentence. Look at this. The greatest advantage in favor of change is that it can bring to light changes or chances that were previously unnoticed. So it can show you things that you didn't know before, like you never thought would happen, which eventually make all the difference in our lives. Maybe you can take a look at this sentence and try to form your own sentence. Take a minute. So this is writing, guys. It's always like this. If you don't practice, if you don't do it, like use a pen and start writing it, it's never easy, you know, but you can, I'm sure you can make it. You can use superlatives here, the greatest, the biggest, wherever you want to use. getting more experience. Hani. Okay, let's take a look at Hani's sentence. Change means getting more experience and learning new methods and get improvements. It's a very good sentence. Okay, Hani, this is a very good sentence, but you should, when you write your first sentence, you should keep in mind that you are not just giving your opinion. You should have information to support your opinion. Okay, so get ready for this. Anyone else? You could say the most important advantage of change is blah, blah, blah. That's it. You don't have to write a complicated sentence. Anyone? Okay, let's move on. We can move on to the next part. Okay, let me just give you 1 minute, one more minute, because we need to make sure that everybody has written his own and her own essay towards the end of this class, or at least the introduction and the first body paragraph. Okay, here we have Suleiman. Okay, the most important advantage of change is to try something new and give chance for another thing to be done. A very good sentence. I like it. I get the idea. Good job, Suleiman. The most important advantage. So let's look at Abdullah's sentence. The most important advantage of undergoing change is the fact that it reveals many traits that we would have never thought we had. This itself brings rather feelings of achievement and a great sense of pride. Perfect. So Abdullah, the first sentence is actually going to be the topic sentence, okay? The second sentence is actually supporting your opinion. So you already wrote the second sentence of the body paragraph. That's a good job. The most severe, okay, so let's take a look. The most important advantage of change is that we will be flexible with others around us. Good. Okay, good job. Change's utmost importance is that it helps us overcome our fear of the unknown. Perfect. David, I can see that you are sticking to the idea you mentioned in the introduction. That's perfect. This is keeping your essay coherent. Okay, good job, everyone. Let's move on. Now that we have written the first sentence, you mentioned the first advantage. You should give reasons. Why? Why do you think that, for example, Babel, why do you think that change helps us overcome our fear of the unknown? Why do you think that? You should support your opinion with examples. Okay, let's take a look at my sentence at the beginning here. So So in my opinion, change can guide us to explore new opportunities, okay? When people push themselves out of their comfort zone, so when you get out of your comfort zone, you get to explore new opportunities in all walks of life. So here you can support your opinion. Let's write another sentence. Let's keep going, guys. I know it's a little bit tiring, but this is how it works. This is how writing works. There is no other way. We could just lecture and talk and talk and talk, but at the end of the day, you will learn nothing. But you should practice. You should write something. It doesn't matter if you make mistakes. It's absolutely fine. Look, I can see Abdullah's sentence. Abdullah, you wrote 2 sentences. You already have the second sentence. This itself brings rather feelings of achievement and a great sense of pride. This is what you just supported what you said in the first sentence. So you don't have to write another sentence. Good job. You're welcome. Everyone, just write a sentence. Don't worry about mistakes. Again, I have to stress this. If you are, so this is Fahd. Fahd, let's take a look at Fahd's sentence. Fahd, you said, if you are not flexible enough to change, you won't be able to move on and achieve goals. Very good. It's a very good sentence, Fahd. Way to go. Then we have Ali. Change always has a positive touch on our attitude and purpose. A very good sentence. But Ali, I need to see your first sentence. Make sure if you guys can write the whole thing, that's better. Because I need to take a look at how your ideas link. So this is the second sentence. And then we can move on to the next part. Give examples. So the first one is giving reasons. This is why I think that this is the main advantage. For example, now it's time to give your example. Okay, Ali, now you said change always has a positive touch on our attitude and purpose. Give an example. Fahd as well. Abdullah. Remember, you can use, for example, for instance, and words like that. Okay, take a look at my sentence here. Let's say I am in Korea right now. For example, traveling to Korea to pursue my high studies is a major change that has had great positive influences on my life. You can mention something that is about your personal life, or you can also mention something about a friend, or maybe about a fact that you know for sure. So here we have, so here, if you make fastly change in your style, you can own the other attention. Oh, okay. So we're okay. Let me take a look at your previous sentence. That you will be flexible with others around you. Okay, and then you wrote, if you make fast change in your style, you can own the other's attention. A very good sentence. I like it. Babel, okay. Understanding the unknown is the first and hardest step to adapt to something new. After all, you miss all shots that you don't take. Wow, it's a very good sentence. Okay, make sure, guys, you start with an example. Like, for example, for instance, okay, these linking words make your essay more coherent. And this is a very important aspect of writing. The most important benefit of change. So this is Aziz. Change is making ourselves more adaptable for any possible challenges that we might face. For example, if we need to complete postgraduate successfully, we need to learn English perfectly. Very good. I like it. Aziz Hadi, good job. 2 perfectly written sentences, although you need to take a look at the structure again, after you finish, but that's okay, as long as you know the structure. Today we are talking about the structure. We're not talking about grammar. We're not talking about change. Always has a positive touch on our attitude and personality, like where can be more friendly, more active, and also might be qualified and whatever we do. Very good. So this is Ali. Good job, Ali. Ruqayya, for instance, if anyone has been in other countries for a job, he will be more aware and participate to prove himself. A very good sentence. So it's as simple as that, guys. You just mention a sentence, a real life sentence. You have to convince the reader, because you're not just giving your opinion, you're giving facts and examples. Okay, let's move on. This is the conclusion of the first body paragraph. So let's conclude. It's the easiest. Muhammad, who's this? Ali. Your name is Muhammad, okay. But it's I can see it as Ali. Okay, no problem. Good job, Muhammad. Okay. So let's write the conclusion of the first body paragraph here. What you need to do is paraphrase the main advantage. Again, look at the main advantage here. You see my main advantage? This is my sentence, right? What I need to do is to rewrite this sentence in different words, okay? And so should you guys. Okay. Take a look at this sentence here, and you can compare it against the first sentence, okay? Thus, change is the flashlight that can guide us, or that can give us light to discover hidden chances. As I said here in the beginning, I said change helps us discover chances that we previously did not notice. Now I can just repeat what I said in different words. So please, can you try to do that. Okay, let me see here. This should be the easiest sentence because you already have the topic sentence of the first body paragraph. All you need to know is write it in different words. Anyone? You tired already, guys? Okay, so here is fatten. Therefore, okay, very good, Abdullah. You wrote the whole thing so that I can. Okay, let's see. Fatten. Fatten said, therefore, change is important to become better and more successful. Very good. So you simply restated the topic sentence. Simple and easy. Okay. Abdullah, you said, all of this has had an amazing impact on my mental health. Okay. No, you said, hence, change is a discovery process that impacts you incredibly. Very good. Good job. Remember, after writing, there's always the step of proofreading. So you should begin with writing and then worry about mistakes, okay? Okay, so we are done with the introduction and the first body paragraph. This is how it looks like, as you can see. And now, can we take like a break for 2 to 5 minutes? I know today's class is very long, but basically we are done with the writing part. In the second part, after the break, we're just going to go through the second body paragraph and the conclusion very fast. So let's take a 5-minute break and see you later, guys. We're back. So let's just get this done with and okay. So now that we've written our introduction and first body paragraph, what we need to do with the second body paragraph is basically the same as the first sentence, but this time you're going to talk about the disadvantages, okay? You'll mention one main disadvantage and then talk about it, okay? Here, how the end result looks like. As you can see, the main challenges, because now we're talking about the disadvantages. So we can say challenges or maybe drawbacks and so on. So the main challenges of change that one may face will usually stem from lack of certainty. So you can take a look at this sentence and you can follow the same structure and write your own paragraph. So we have the topic sentence and then reason and then example and then the conclusion. And then we can move on to how to write a conclusion. This is the easiest out of all. All you need to do is, again, rewrite the general statement and then mention the main advantage and disadvantage again. This time you should paraphrase one more time.
Oh, yeah.
And finally, you should give your opinion.
صباح خبرتوه قال لي والله أنا رجعت على البيت عندي خطار قال بس يروحون أجي قلت له لا تنسانا قال لا أجيكم عنده خطار بالبيت
Ragid is open.
قال الساعة يروحون
Could you please
قال أخبرك على موبايله إيه ما عاد أقول لك عنده خطار بس يطلعون دي يجي أما بالنسبة للباب
Who's talking?
ممكن تكمل يا دكتور المعذرة على المقاطعة هذه.
No problem, but
close all mic.
I think he doesn't know about that. Yeah. But it doesn't matter, it's okay. So we can move on. We can, as I said, first restate the general statement. Basically, just like you wrote the introduction, you write the conclusion. And then mention the main advantage and disadvantage again. And finally, give your opinion. Begin with a conclusion word like to conclude, to sum up, to summarize, something like that. So as you can see here, this is the first sentence, second and third. You can take a look at this, guys. I'm gonna share it with Radwan and you can get a copy of it. So this is how the end result looks like of the essay we just wrote today. You can take a look at it again and analyze the information there and try to compose your own essay. Finally, let's look at general tips. This is the final point we'll talk about. I think the most important point about writing is to understand the question. You must understand the question before you attempt to answer it. It's very important to take your time to understand the question, because if you misunderstand the question and write something, then you definitely are going to get a bad score. So be careful. Number 2 is plan your answer. Learn and practice pre-writing skills. Before writing, you should brainstorm, you should use clustering, you should use outlining. These are all pre-writing techniques that you guys should read, you should research and you should learn. And then learn post-writing skills. This is proofreading. At least you have 40 minutes. At least 5 minutes of your time should be for proofreading, for finding mistakes and so on. Never use a word unless you are 100% sure about its spelling and meaning. Use a variety of sentences, different kinds of sentences. If you're aiming to band 7 or above, you should use simple, compound, complex sentences. And then learn using conjunctions like reason, purpose, conditional, comparison and contrast, advantages and disadvantages, etc. Use proper materials. This is very, very important. You guys, there is a whole lot of resources online, so you should be careful when choosing what to study, okay? Finally, or before the last point, keep a journal or a diary. Write every day. Just write about your feelings. Keep this journal in your phone. Practice writing every day. And finally, you should read, and read. And with this, I'd like to thank everyone for being patient until this moment. And thank you so much for attending.
Thank you, Mr. Hamdan. Thank you, Mr. Hamdan, for taking over this session. You were so amazing, so active. The class was so informative, actually. May God grant you the best in your life.
Alhamdulillah, I hope that it was beneficial for everyone. And if you guys need anything, you should, contact Radwan. We can provide you with some resources
Okay,
I can help you
sure
improve,
for that.
inshallah.
And for the participant, if you have any question or you need any elaboration at some point, just mute yourself and speak out. Feel free.
Yeah. Does anyone have a question here?
Now I will share with you the Paraphrasing link. Just fill it to have your certificate. If you guys have any question, just speak or write it in the chat box.
Thank you, guys. I really appreciate your
that there is no question. No.
Any questions? Go ahead and open your microphone, unmute and talk.
Okay, if there is no question, maybe we will end up.
Look,
this session.
there is a question. Ridwan, there is one question by Babel. He said, what if I have conflicting opinion on such a subject where both the advantages and the disadvantages weigh the same? Well, it happens, you know. Sometimes you don't get to choose the question in the exam, right? You're just asked a question and you're supposed to write something. We are not measuring the ideas you have. What the examiners are doing, they want to see how you put together your ideas and how, I mean, they're trying to see where your writing skills stand. And by looking at this, they can give you a band, maybe 5, 6, 7, 8. That's why we have from 4 to all the way to 9. So you don't have a choice here, unfortunately, Babel. You should, I mean, you should probably make up some information there. Okay, Babel, no problem. Okay, Ridwan, I think obviously there are no other questions, so. Okay, guys, so again, thank you so much for attending today's class. With this being said, I'd like to
I'm sorry, I was speaking while my mic is mute. Sorry for that.
No problem. Go ahead.
Okay, just we would like to say that next week we will have our third webinar, which is the last of this course. And we will see you, inshallah, in our upcoming events. We have a lot of events for you, and inshallah, you will get the most out of them in the future. And that's it. That's all for the day. Thanks again, Mr. Hamdan. You did it very well. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good night.
اللي ما سجل في رابط الحضور أنا شيرته معكم، فسجلوا عشان الشهادة بإذن الله. بشاركه من جديد.